break got your thoughts in perspective, well, it's time for some high-flying fashion. Now, Chennai International Fashion Week is just around the corner and we have the exclusive look into what's in store. For the fashion-forward folks of Chennai, prepare yourself for some serious fashion and glamour at the second edition of the International Fashion Week, slated to begin on the 5th of July. Apart from women, this year the show shifts focus to the men, dedicating an entire day for showcasing men's clothing.
Designer Rihani opening the show, which I think is the biggest USP because, designer is the most celebrated designer in Chennai, and she agreeing to open the show adds a lot of prestige to the event.
The official announcement was nothing short of a glamorous affair. Present at the Kamaya Gallery were Shakti Girish, Rihane, Pratap Potan and Gaurav Sharma amongst others. This year, be sure to catch the 25 Indian fashion designers and 5 international designers who will be showcasing their work. And yes, you can now buy the clothes which will be displayed at a retail outlet post the Fashion Week. The theme for the season is festive clothing.
Chennai Fashion Week was really well organized for a first Fashion Week. That's why I'm back for the second. And of course, anything to do with my city, I'm in. Whether you want me in or you don't want me in, I'm going to be in because I feel, lots needs to be done as far as fashion is concerned in a city like Chennai, and I would like to be among the first few to do it.
So, if you want to see models strut their stuff on the ramp or even give yourself a makeover, then the International Fashion Week is the event to mark out on next month's calendar. So you can catch all the high-flying fashion news right here on Shift Focus because the International Fashion Week starts on July 5th. Now moving on, everything in life has got to have a balance, and just like the Chinese say, the yin and the yang, or rather like the black and the white. So 50-50 is the ratio that everyone is ideally supposed to follow. Now when Dr. Vijay Nagaswamy came up with his new book, A 50-50 Marriage, it's no surprise that everyone rushed there to get their copy. At the launch function of his latest book, 50-50 Marriage, Return to Intimacy, psychiatrist and marital therapist Dr. Vijay Nagaswamy stood welcoming the guests with his petite and lovely wife, Usha, by his side. Looking at them, you knew with startling clarity, who better to write a book on a successful and happy marriage than him?
So the first book that I wrote, The 24/7 Marriage, is part of this series, is for younger couples who are planning to get married or been recently married. New issues have started, how to really lay the foundations for the marriage. And then we looked at another group of people, that is people who have been married a few years and who find that the marriage is drifting a bit. They're not as connected anymore. The intimacy has gone out of the marriage. So that was the purpose of this book, the return to intimacy. However, many people have asked me about the title, 50-50 Marriage. What does it mean? Does it mean that it's only for people who are 50 and above? Far from it. Basically what I'm saying is that marriage has to be a 50-50 enterprise. Both partners have to take equal responsibility, not only in dealing with problems, but also when it comes to working through issues. They need to be able to take full responsibility, full ownership, because that's the only way a marriage is really going to work.
The Benny room at the Taj Kanimara filled up in seconds. After all, everyone wants to know how to get into and stay in a happy marriage with a solid foundation. Dr. Vijay Nagaswamy, having written the eminently successful 24/7 Marriage, had just the right advice this time too. According to him, it's only but natural for couples to grow apart after some years of marriage. But he says emphatically, they can return to intimacy if they make just a little effort. Theatre personality Anuradha Anand read excerpts from the book, and Dr. Nagaswamy elaborated upon the case stories. A rapt audience hung on to every word. Interesting questions were raised and everyone had an opinion, having read Dr. Nagaswamy's books.
Himself is a people person. So he talks about experiences, he looks at experiences, and that is what he, real life, real time experience, and that's what he writes about in his book. That is why his books are so popular, because it's about real people. I think that is one surefire method of telling a story, using real life experiences, and that's why people relate to Vijay's books, I think.
Heard the narrative passages this evening. I could relate with a lot of the situations the various couples found themselves in. And I think there's a lot of learning for this. Even though I've been married, my wife and I have been married rather for 3 decades, there's a lot of learning for this in terms of trying to do a course correction if it's necessary. And the situations were very, very reminiscent of the marriages that I am aware of, friends and relatives. I think marriage is a wonderful institution, provided that the husband and wife understand each other. And I think after 3 decades, my wife and I understand each other pretty well. At least I hope so. Yeah.
Well, according to me, I've always said that marriage is always a process where it's, trial and error, trial and error. In my viewpoint, man and woman were not actually meant to live together in total harmony. So the harmony has to be worked at all the time. A lot of the time there's disharmony also, but as Vijay has put it, it's 50-50.
And that's what made this evening a special occasion for everyone who attended. Surely, marriages are made in heaven, but Dr. Nagaswami's books has the secret trick for keeping it there. A 50-50 marriage. Well, that is definitely some thought, isn't it? And with that, it's time to say goodbye on Shift Focus. Hope you all enjoyed watching the show. Remember to send in your comments, your suggestions and your views to feedback at ndtv-hindu.com. Until next week, I'm Dipti Kumar saying goodbye. And remember, catch us on Shift Focus Nights at 10 Downing Street.